Hi, and welcome to another edition of Bauer Business Bites. My name is David Tighe. I'm the Managing Director of Bauer Media here in Northern Ireland. And each week we take a look and we try to get some insight into a different area of what's going on here in Northern Ireland. And it's my pleasure this week to introduce Karen Collins, who's the Chief Executive of Aware NI. And Karen, you are welcome to Business Bites.
Good afternoon. Thanks, David.
It's great to see you, and I understand 25th year, so happy anniversary to you and everyone in the charity. Tell us a little bit about where it came from and where you are today. What is Aware NI?
Great. Thanks, David. So Aware is the depression charity for Northern Ireland. We're the only charity in Northern Ireland working exclusively for those who have concerns and issues around depression and bipolar disorder. As you say, we're 25 years old this year. We started in the Northwest 25 years ago as one support group offering peer support for individuals who were struggling with their mental health, with depression and bipolar disorder specifically. And from there we've grown. We now have a network of 24 support groups which operate across towns and cities across Northern Ireland. They're peer-led groups by people who have experienced mental ill health themselves, and they're an opportunity for people to come together to learn from each other's experiences, to talk about how their week has been in terms of their mental health, and to get support and encouragement to make it through and to help improve their health going forward. Aside from the support groups, we also offer now a range of education and wellbeing programs which are aimed at the general population with a focus on improving the awareness that we all have of mental health and how important it is to look after our mental health in the same way we do our physical health. So hugely important programs that are having a big impact on reducing the stigma associated with mental health, helping people learn more about looking after their mental health, and we hope going forward improving the mental health of the population in Northern Ireland.
Well, it's a great story, and we're happy to help promote the great work that you're all doing, you and all your team. And obviously mental health, in recent times, it's become a big point of discussion. And I suppose it doesn't really distinguish, mental health challenges are not distinguished by someone's job or where someone comes from. It can affect anyone. So specifically in the business community, there's a lot of challenges at the minute for people to deal with that they've never dealt before. Are you seeing that coming through in your charity? Different types of people who perhaps might have kept things under wraps in the past?
Most definitely. I think one of the biggest issues that we would have not acknowledged before was that people were not really that open about talking about their mental health. There was that stigma that if you had a concern about your mental health and you said that you were struggling with your mental health, you were somehow seen as weak or unable to cope or not fit for a particularly stressful position or job. And in normal times, that's how we related to it. And what we've seen over the past year with COVID is we all recognise that COVID, this is not a normal situation. The pandemic, the lockdowns, the experiences that we've all been through, it's not normal. And people are recognising that it's completely acceptable right now for us not to feel okay mentally and emotionally, and to be struggling with things that we perhaps mightn't normally struggle with. So it's really helped open up those conversations where people in many walks of life will now quite openly hold their hand up and say, actually, you know what, right now I really am struggling, I need a bit of help. And that's actually really positive and really constructive. And one of the things we hope is that we remember that post-pandemic, that is something like a pandemic, like ill health, like a change of relationship, a change of job, all of these things affect our mental health, and it's okay that they have an impact on us, and we all need help from time to time. The important thing is that we are able to get the help and support that we need. So as you say, we're certainly seeing people coming forward for support that would not typically have been someone that we might have reached out to Aware or to another organisation for support. So that's really positive and encouraging to see people from business communities, from high-powered jobs, from all sorts of walks of life, people experiencing new challenges now that they're just asking for some help for.
Yeah, and I suppose that there's the direct challenges to people's mental health, and then there's the indirect challenges. So if you're running a business, you've obviously got the stressful situation of keeping things afloat, but then also you may have people working with you that are experiencing issues as well. So obviously we would talk about children being at home, the stresses that can cause, also the stresses that the children may have themselves. I mean, What's the kind of a flavour at the minute of the typical issues that are going on out there?
Mhm. Well, I think to remember as a starting point, mental ill health costs our economy about £45 billion a year right across the UK. There's a significant cost to businesses of mental ill health through presenteeism, absenteeism, staff turnover, and so forth. And in Northern Ireland, that's higher than it is across the rest of the UK. So we're already starting off from a fairly negative position there. And now we've got these new challenges added on top of it. It just really reinforces how important it is for employers and for businesses to take seriously the consequences of mental ill health in the workplace, and for employers to recognise the signs and symptoms in their employees that they might be struggling, they might need some help, and to think about what can be offered in the workplace to help accommodate those issues. So whether it is a flexible approach to working hours, whether it's employee assistance programs, counselling, training initiatives that can help their employees, those are hugely valuable. And as you say, right on top of those now, some of the really important things that are coming up for us are those challenges of parents, particularly who are perhaps already working from home, have young children there, are trying to homeschool. It's a fairly impossible situation if you're trying to work a full-time week and homeschool maybe a couple of primary school age children. So employers having an empathetic approach to that is even more important now than it would be in normal situations. So thinking about what employers can do to be flexible with their employees and to be a bit more accommodating, recognising the pressures that they do have, because all of these things just add stress upon stress upon stress, which ultimately can lead to people perhaps being off ill or unable to work because of it. So there's certainly huge pressures that are coming with homeschooling, with flexible working, with the isolation as well of not having that collegiate that atmosphere that you might enjoy in your workplace. We were just talking this morning about, you really miss the tea breaks that you have with your colleagues and that kind of social interaction, which helps to relieve some of the stresses and pressures. So just recognising that some of those things are missing right now and thinking about what we can do to continue to accommodate for them and to encourage a social environment in the workplace as well is really important.
Yeah, I suppose picking up on some of those non-verbal signals is quite difficult when people are
Mm.
working from home and isolated. You just see people like we're talking
Mhm.
to each other now, I suppose. So do you in terms of if someone's watching this now and they're struggling, or they're an employer and they've noticed something in perhaps someone at their work, can they contact you? What can you do to help the situation as Aware NI?
Definitely. So we are very much still open for business and still providing services and help to people that need them. So the easiest, most direct way to get in touch with us is just through our email, through info@aware-ni.org, or through our website that is awareni.org. And again, our social media channels as well, just Aware NI. You get lots of information there. But we have a range of support groups which we're continuing to offer. Most of those are operating online at the moment, as you would expect. We also have WhatsApp groups and telephone opportunities to connect with people if they are struggling and they want some one-to-one support. And we also are continuing to deliver those range of education and wellbeing programs. So our team again are delivering those virtually as well. So if you're an employer and you feel that you personally or that a selected number of your team would benefit from that, again, just contact us at the info@ email address and we'll be able to tell you a little bit more about the services and the programs that we can offer. We can talk to you a little bit about what you feel your employees and that your workplace might need and think about an option that would work best for you. If you maybe don't want to get into those, we've lots of fact sheets and information on our website that will give you a bit more detail about some typical common mental ill health conditions, about mental health in the workplace. And there's also a really helpful COVID wellbeing website at the moment, which has been created over the past year of the pandemic. And there's huge amounts of information on there as well to help the general population and employers in specific to know better how to support employees at this time.
Yeah, and I've also seen there's a kids competition on there as well, which people will have to visit if they want their kids to enter. Look, I suppose finally, I would just say to you, you're obviously doing fantastic work, and we wish you more success for the next 25 years in everything that you're doing. And it's great that we have people like you and your team out there helping people out. So thanks very much for being our guest this week.
Thanks, David. Thank you for the time.